So in this video, I'm going to talk to you super fast about the CAT course sequence, which is CAT 1, 2, and 3. The course sequence is writing focused because CAT, after all, is a writing class or set of writing classes. So the lower division sequence focuses on writing instruction, teaching skills to help students succeed in their future college classes, but also really beyond. We're thinking about writing as a foundational skill and writing as tethered to critical thinking, critical reading, research, the production of new knowledge. And so writing for us is at the base of that sort of everything we're doing in CAT. The courses are interdisciplinary and taught by faculty from across campus. This is one of the things that's really fun about Six College is we have a variety of topics. They're all thinking about culture, art, and technology, but doing it from a different perspective. So from an anthropological perspective or from the perspective of music, or where I'm concerned from the perspective of media history. And so the topics are going to vary pretty widely across CAT classes, but the skills that you'll be learning will be the same across any sort of track of a CAT 1 course, for instance. Lower division CAT sequence is structured around teaching writing as a process. And so we're asking students to engage with these big ideas and big texts, but then we're asking you to think about using writing as a way to think through these questions and the text that you encounter and the issues that you encounter, and also to think about writing as a process, and writing is tethered to thinking. So CAT 1 is 4 units. It is not a writing intensive class, it's kind of the pre-writing intensive classes. And all the topics sort of are about the past in some way, shape, or form. And some of the questions we're asking are what kinds of evidence are worth analyzing? How can we read the past critically? How do we understand histories as narratives that serve particular purposes? So history not as just this thing that exists kind of as truth, but history as a construction, historical narratives as working towards particular political and ideological purposes. And these are our course goals. So CAT 1 is really critical reading focused. So we're thinking about summarizing academic arguments. We're thinking about genre and rhetorical knowledge. So how do you understand how genres shape your experience of reading and writing and your expectations surrounding a particular text? And then process. So we're really starting to think about writing as a process and developing strategies for generating ideas, editing, revising, and proofreading. CAT 2 classes are set in the present. So we're moving from past to present, thinking about how do we use that information that we learned in the fall to engage with the present. And how do we dissect contemporary arguments about art, technology, and culture? And really, how do we develop media literacy for the present moment that helps us sort of create distance and allow us to think critically and critique what we see happening in the world around us? So here are the CAT 2 course goals. Writing and rhetoric. This is a 6-unit class. We're really focused on argument. And so that is one of the primary goals is argument. So thinking about the organization of an argument, how do you use really good evidence and analyze that evidence in service of your argument? How do you move away from writing that kind of 5-paragraph high school essay and develop your skills to write at this sort of college level? And then we are also thinking about revision and citation practices. And then CAT 3 is where we'll start doing research as we think about the future. All the CAT 3 classes are set in the future. This year, I'm super excited because we'll be theming CAT 3 around issues of climate disruption. We have professors from theater, from Scripps Institute of Oceanography, from physics, coming to teach with us to think sort of critically about the planet, the climate, and the future. CAT 3 goals are as follows. This is where we build on those skills developed in CAT 1 and CAT 2 to think again about writing and argumentation. Then how do we do independent research? How do we use those citation practices we learned in CAT 2 and apply them when we're doing this kind of independent research? You'll also be working collaboratively in group projects. And then one of the major goals, which of course ties into the sort of underlying kind of art ethic of Six College and of the Culture, Art, and Technology program, is art making. And so we'll be asking you to think about, like, how does research work in a creative process, and how do we collaborate? And part of that collaboration too is to build those communication. We've been doing a lot of writing and communication, but how do we build communication skills interpersonally? How do we make arguments kindly and ethically to our group member? And so that's part of that sort of skill set that we're hoping you develop in Cat 3 as you also imagine different, better futures. And so potential projects you could do would be, I have my students make sci-fi films. Past classes have also developed video games as part of their final projects, or instruments to detect extraterrestrial life, which again brings us back to this question of like how art and technology and science are all sort of intersecting. Here are classes for fall 2020, the transformation of cities, origins from hillbilly music to hip hop, and a Hollywood history. These course descriptions are on our website. So if you want more information, that's a great place to start. And then quickly, I know this is a question that is on all of our minds, mine included. How are these classes going to be taught? So generally CAT classes are a big lecture with breakout sections taught by TAs. In the fall, all our lectures will be remote. Some of them will be synchronous, which means Dr. Chardo, for example, will deliver his lecture at the scheduled time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you can show up to it, and that's always going to be ideal. But then if you can't, there'll be, he'll record those lectures and they'll be posted to Canvas. For my class and Dr. Bigham's, we will be doing remote but asynchronous lectures, which means we'll record them and then you watch them on your own time. I generally, for instance, do 2 to 3 short lectures every week, and I post everything all at once, and then you can kind of work your way through every sort of weekly module. Sections for Dr. Bigham's course will be remote and synchronous. For the rest of Cat 1, we are still waiting on guidance about what that will look like. So I apologize that I don't have more information at this moment, but we will give you information as soon as we have it.